Well, we're here, Nervous Rex with Wim Hof, and we were just doing a tribal little song. Let's continue for the people that didn't get to experience that. Let's just improv a little. Yeah, right? It just feels good. Is there something to be said for some tribal? Does that feel like a tribal thing we don't do enough to get in tune with that feels good to me? That feels like I don't do that enough.
I think my baby taught me. My baby taught me, and he loved me doing crazy things, like and dance like crazy,
Right.
And it pacifies him,
Makes him tired. Makes him relaxed.
like a lullaby.
Yeah. Or does it make you relaxed?
Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
and that makes him relaxed.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because we try so hard, but we don't know how to pacify these babies sometimes.
Right.
And then we just need to get out of our conditioning or something, be crazy, and then get to the sense.
I think that most people are afraid to look crazy, right? Because I was watching you last night. I came over to your place. Thank you for having me. You had a beautiful little dinner party with some live music, and you were in the middle of the dance floor dancing. You didn't care what anybody thought, how you looked. You were dancing with your baby.
Oh yeah.
You don't really care what people think about you, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, I did the WHM, the Wim Hof method, and sometimes people look at you like, what is this guy doing? They think you're crazy. But the funny thing is, they're crazy and you know exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
It could throw people off because it's not something that everybody does, but you're spreading your message of love. What is the 3 pillars?
It's love, but then composed by 3 pillars. The guarantee, scientifically evidence-based, that we are able to be in control over our happiness, strength, and health.
Right. Happiness.
How does that go? That comes about by these 3 pillars we use in the method, which are by science proven. So there's no speculation about it, even though it can look like between parentheses crazy. It is scientifically based, and it shows that breathing exercises, gradual, breathing. What do you do when you go into the cold? You learn to breathe deep. That is to adapt to biochemistry in the present moment to maintain the right functionality in the body. For that, we need to breathe deep, bring in more oxygen. What do we do in society? We breathe shallow. And that in 10 years creates always a little off-balance chemistry. And there you get the cause and effect of autoimmune diseases. Yeah, and of course nobody knows about that. So let's keep it simple. Get back. Breathing exercises, gradual cold exposure, and mindset. The mindset, everybody thinks like meditation. What is this? Meditation or some Buddhistic sitting and then trying to pacify you. No, learning how to bring consciously the blood flow in deeper areas thought of impossible inside of our brain. And I just did this last study. And there it showed that I was capable, just by using my mind, to make cold water on my skin, the skin temperature not going down. That is internal control through the mind, just the mind. Now, anything can be stress. Anything can be biological stress, physical stress, your wife, your husband, your kids, the congestion in the traffic, daily stress, the deadlines, and all that. But it creates, in the end, cell biological stress. And now we have shown in brain scans that cell biological stress can be controlled just by your thought, by your mind. And so I'm talking 3 pillars: breathing exercises, gradual cold exposure, and mind control.
When you say gradual cold exposure, I feel like maybe that's a part that I did wrong because I did a 21-day Wim Hof method where I got your app. I think it was right after I met you. I was already onto your stuff, but I would sort of dabble in it. And then once I met you, we were at Aubrey Marcus's place, and we did a session together. And I tell you, man, it brought up a lot of emotions, and it was heavy just doing breath work. And I went and did it myself for 21 days. I did 21-day experiment on myself. I like to guinea pig myself. So I did the breath work. I did some of the stuff on your app where you combine the breath work with stretching and push-ups. I did some of those. I did the cold exposure, and I meditate already. So I combined those, and I found that maybe I jumped a little too quick into, I was going to the ocean, and it was the winter time. So is that not gradual cold exposure? Should I have started, maybe for listeners who have never done this, should maybe I have started with a cold shower, maybe a temperature less cold in a bathtub? What would you recommend is gradual?
Gradual is like not shocking.
Okay.
You know,
I was shocked.
Yeah. And that is because the vascular tone of the vascular system, 3 times the length of the world, is within us. It contains millions of little muscles. And those little muscles it's like any muscle, you cannot lift.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again. If all the nerves of your body or the veins, the ventricle system,
the veins,
the penis included?
Absolutely. The blood flow going into that part makes it or breaks it.
Right.
So it's everywhere. It's like 3 times the length of the world is inside.
In each human being?
Yes. Every single human being has it. And what we found out is that, killer number 1 in Western society is cardiovascular related.
Heart disease, yeah?
Heart disease. Right. And that comes because of the bad blood flow and the wrong chemistry. Now, we found that the blood flow system, the vascular system, contains millions of little muscles to contract and dilate. To open and close, open and close, open and close. What does the cold do? Open and close, open and close. All the 3 times the length of the world vascular channels. That makes all these little muscles suddenly a lot stronger. And the flexibility of the vascular system, thus transportation system of the oxygen, nutrients, and vitamins and all, they once they are uptoned, they help the flexibility going from small to big. It's really high and low blood pressure to begin with is out of there just by taking cold showers. Never shockingly. So
never shocking
to go answer your question. Follow your feeling. Your feeling is the guide. Don't shock the guide. You will not go on.
So do you eventually get to a point where you can shock yourself, but gradually get there as opposed to just jumping into the opposite of fire, into the cold, so to speak? You want to gradually get to a point? For instance, at this point for you, is there anything that shocks you? Or when you go into the freezing cold water, are you already in a relaxed state?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people, but you've done this for years. I mean, you've changed your mind, the chemistry of your body. You're the ninja of this. Most people listening to this, they would have to do this for a very long time to get to that point. And I'm a beginner, so I think I'm speaking for most people listening when this is very new and different for people to try this. I like going outside of my comfort zone. Some people are more afraid to take a cold shower than they are to cut off their pinky. I mean, people, I would never take a cold shower. I think mentally it trains you as well. When you start going into cold showers, I did it every day for 6 months, cold showers only. And I'd be laying in bed cozy and I'd say, I don't want to get in that cold shower. And then as soon as I'd get in there, I felt like my day, I could tackle the day better because mentally I prepared and I could do it. Does that make sense? That there's a mental component too that you can overcome and you can be a stronger person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, just to be... Yeah, it's a nice standstill. We have shown in the last study to be able to connect with the deepest part of the brain.
Which is the pineal gland?
Yeah, almost. Periaqueductal gray hemisphere.
I knew that.
Which is, it's like the Broadway, very broad, long line. What is it? It is where the opioids and the cannabinoids exist.
That's marijuana and basically-
painkillers.
and painkillers. Yeah.
Yeah, we got an epidemic, for example, on opioids.
Yeah, we could get into that.
It's not necessary. You just learn to tap into your own opiates.
So you could get high off your own supply.
Absolutely. And this is the way. And but it takes just a step out of your comfort zone. Because the comfort zone we have created through our thoughts. And through our thoughts, we have created all kinds of machines. Like air conditioning, heatings, and coolers, and cars, and this and that. And we live in this kind of thinking, brain-controlled world, and we move therein. And that is not necessarily the way we are physiologically built, which was to endure stress, the elements of nature coming to us. Which is connected with deeper part of our brain.
Reptilian brain?
A reptilian brain, brainstem, and the mammalian brain.
Well, because up until 200 years ago, as a species, for millions of years, we've had to use those parts of our brain to survive.
Yes.
And now you sit around and you're, like you said, you're air-conditioned home. You don't have to walk. You drive everywhere. You take an escalator. We've become very lazy and spoiled and too coddled.
Yes.
Yeah.
That it is. So it is very difficult to get out of that conditioned neurological pathways of our thinking brain and our behavior because of that. And it's to go into the cold shower is learning to go into the deeper part of your brain again.
Right.
Now, normally you don't need that too much. You know, you don't need discomfort, etc. But if you don't have this neurological pathway connection within, then when shit hits the fan, you cannot do anything because you have no connection. You have no you are in pain, or you become depressed, or you become sick, and you cannot do anything. You cannot activate the opioids nor the cannabinoids to regulate the bad situation where you got into, because you have always been in comfort. And there is no connection with the deeper part of the brain. And then you're going to use pills, medicines, and that's a vicious circle.
And as you know, in the United States of America, we have a very, very bad epidemic with painkillers, with pharmaceutical antidepressants. I mean, everybody's on something. This is big stuff that you were saying, that we are able to tap into healing ourselves without Western medicine, because it seems to be ruining a lot of people's lives, and I see it around me a lot. I mean, and it's not just here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
This is across the board. It seems to be more so in America. I think we consume 80% of the world's pharmaceuticals. You go to other places in the world, it's not as bad. What is it about America that's so, why are we so crazy? You're from the Netherlands, you stay here. What is it about us that's so crazy?
Yeah, we think we can rule the world.
You mean Americans?
Yeah. We can dominate the world, and we can control the world. We can control even the nature outside, but we don't have the control of the nature inside. We lost it because of that.
And what's more important than that? I mean, that's everything.
That's where I go. And now, millions of data through science, I'm showing that we are able to be in control over our dopamine, serotonin, cannabinoids, our opioids, or in other words, to become happy, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because you are able to regulate your own mood. And you are able to increase energy management in the cell. We are doing right now the big DNA study in San Francisco with the top researchers of the world, and showing that we are even able to influence directly into the DNA. That is the length of of our lifespan. We can influence. We can bring it back, the cell condition, to its primal condition. It's amazing what we have found, and how just by not going through the books, I found my things in nature. And you know, nature has the answer. Only we as Westerners, like Dutch people too, and Germans, and Americans, a little bit alike, are always into controlling the nature outside, getting a behavior which alienates one, not only of the nature outside, because we are dominating and exploiting and polluting that nature, we are exploiting and polluting and becoming insensitive toward our inner nature.
I was just in the East. I don't know if you spent any time in Southeast Asia, but when you go to the East and you see the way that they live compared to us, we Westerners seem to be in our prefrontal cortex. We think too much. We think, and think. We don't relax into the body and into nature. When you go to the East, you see how they live and how happy they are. They're happy people.
Yeah, in India, when I go to India, it's such a livelihood in the streets.
It's a spirit.
The people have no time for depression.
No.
You know,
and they have nothing, and they have happiness.
That's it. Now the software companies, etc., in India, they come, etc., and they get the same neurological disorders. It's all we should not indulge too much. Technology is great. It's beautiful, but do not indulge too much into technology. It's going to take you over, and you're going to be half shut down within your own system, and a big part of your own brain are going to be shut down or on a standby, but not flourishing. And when then difficulties happen of life, say divorce, or you have no job, or somebody died, or you become sick, you are not able to get the balance back because you have no control within your own brain.
So this is essentially training for real life situations that will happen, because I feel, for me personally, anytime I go into nature is when I'm the most happy. If I'm on a beach, if I'm on a beautiful mountain, if I'm on a lake, and I look around and I take a deep breath, I feel a chemical change in me. I'm happy. And then if I'm in a subway station in a metropolis and I'm not happy. We're not supposed to be animals in a zoo. We're supposed to be out there in nature. And we've all been robbed of this. And it's crazy how backwards it is that we have to now fight to get back to the most primal thing, breath. First thing you do when you're born. Yes. I'm just learning how to breathe in my 40s, Wim. What the fuck is going on? Nature, breath, water, these simple elements that are right in front of us that nobody seems to be using correctly. And here you are to remind us and teach us. And I can tell you from experience, I did your 3-week crash course, and I was definitely happier. I slept better.
Oh, yesterday we had a top researcher of one of the top researchers here in the country on sleep. Melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone, but it doesn't set in when there is a slight inflammation going on in our body, in which we are able to function, etc. But that's in cities. You get a slight inflammation, and that slight inflammation makes the core body temperature go up a half a degree to a degree, and thus the melatonin uptake is no longer guaranteed. People get bad sleep.
And that adds up.
Yes. You go into the cold showers. I always say a cold shower a day, guys, it keeps the doctor away. And that means you get back to the right core body temperature in which the chemical processes in both in the brain and the body are going to be reestablished, and you're going to have a great sleep. You're going to have great action because the chemistry is right.
Question: morning is obviously good to wake up. I saw somewhere, and I don't know if this was if you said this, but a cold shower at night can actually help you sleep.
Yes.
Is that true? Because it would seem like it would wake you up.
No, we are, because we are inflamed a little. That makes the melatonin uptake, or the activation of the melatonin, it impedes it. So if you take a cold shower, then your core body temperature goes back to the natural standard, in which is melatonin, like sleep, is a normal thing, is a natural thing. But it's not natural if we are not natural.
Right.
It's not naturally there if we are not natural.
Right.
And so you become natural within your own body again if you take a cold shower. And the action and the sympathetic nervous system, no, it's not about that, because you... during the day when there is light, then your nervous system is going into action. But only that is possible because photons come in. You go into action after you have restored through a deep sleep. It's all chemistry. And that chemistry needs the right temperature, the right core body temperature. Let's keep it simple. a cold shower a day, I would say. But people with real problems going to sleep because they got too much minding going on that inflames the body, that inflames, that impedes the serotonin and the melatonin uptake. You just then take a cold shower, cold shower, and you're going to sleep like a baby.
See, that's exactly my thing, is that I think I have what they call the monkey mind, right? Where I think, and it's very hard for me to get out of my monkey mind. I have to do a lot of work. I try so many things to get out of my prefrontal cortex to just be in the moment. The breath work, the yoga, meditation. But I'll be honest with you, of all the things I've tried, the cold water was the quickest shortcut to shutting my fucking monkey brain up.
It's amazing, yes. It's amazing. And why? Because the cold shower activates the brainstem. And in the brainstem, there is
back here in the nape? Where is the brainstem?
In exactly the middle of your head.
Oh, it's in the middle of the stem.
Yes.
Okay.
You get the discs of the spine. Now, and then there it begins. The brainstem. Periaqueductal gray hemisphere, and then the brainstem, then the limbic system is around it, and then you get our human brain, the neocortex and all that.
Did you smoke? You're from Amsterdam, so I'm not making assumptions, but I smoked a lot of marijuana in my life, and now I don't smoke marijuana, and I'm noticing that my brain, it feels like it's exploding with dreams and thoughts and feelings. But it's almost like I'm on drugs by not being on drugs because I'm not smoking marijuana. The dream state that I go into, I won't even bother explaining because I don't even understand it.
REM sleep.
Oh, yeah, REM.
That is the activation through blood flow descending in the deepest part of the brain. It's when you get, the more relaxed you get in the sleep, the deeper you go in your brain. And then the activation of DMT is happening. It's that's the REM sleep.
Right.
Rapid
eye movement, right.
Yes. All the influx of the day, which was not worked out, so-called subconscious, is being worked out. And then you feel restored. Right. The energy is done. It's out there. You are pure, nice, okay again in the morning.
How do you sleep? Are you a good? What do you get? 8 hours a night? What's your average?
I just had a new baby, 1.5 years, so there was no sleeping involved.
Right.
But when I sleep. I'm a rock.
I'm a rock. Okay.
And
are you a napper? Do you take naps? I find it hard to take. I'm trying to be a nap guy because I feel like it would help me, but it's hard for me to. Exactly. Can we take a deep breath together? Okay, let's do it. Let's take, for everybody listening too, let's all, I want you guys, if you're driving, it's okay if they do it, take a breath while driving.
Oh, yeah. Conscious breathing, but no holding of breath.
No holding it. Let's just do one deep breath along with our listeners, and maybe that will make the world a better place for 14 seconds. Let's try it. Okay, let's try it. In through the nose or mouth?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
They ask me, it's funny, these women, they ask me, Wim, how do I have to breathe? Through my nose, through the nostrils, or the mouth, or the belly, the diaphragm, how intermittent? I don't care what kind of hole you use, baby. Just get it in. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
But that's funny.
Yes.
But the reality is we are minding too much about it.
We're thinking too
much. And the
much.
breath
That's
is
what
the
I just
life
did.
force.
Okay.
If we just mind about the breath, we get everywhere with our mind. And thus you get into control of every cell in your body. And just to remind, in one breath, you will be able to get everywhere in your system the way nature meant it to be. And there it is.
Let's do one. Ready? Okay. I feel like one deep breath changes everything.
Real mind control is being able, just by one breath, to get in the totality of your own body and your perception. So the will is in connection with all the neurological networks called our senses. You know, the audio, the hearing, the hearing sides, taste, smell, touch. Then you got the sixth sense. The sixth sense, the seventh sense, and the eighth sense. Now we have shown in scientific evidence-based that we are able to enter in 100% hold your horses, and buckle up, because we're going to explain something which is a complete new science. We have 5 exterior senses and we have 5 interior senses. Those are neurological networks. They are real, So the sixth sense is the ability to go into any part of your brain.
And what is that called?
And that is the sixth sense, confidence. You get a deep sense of confidence because you are prepared to go anywhere and to react with mathematical precision to any danger in the future past our time-space barrier and consciousness. We got a time-space a way of thinking, being, etc. But in our subconscious, there happens things past our perception of the time-space, which has no time-space. It was in the past, it will be in the future. Doesn't matter. It takes the whole brain being open and not being rigidly conditioned just in a certain kind of perception which we are schooled in. That is limited. That's narrowed consciousness. We are built to be able to make the subconscious conscious. And that is only possible if we are able to activate 100% of our brain. And this is what we just have shown in Hanover in one of the 2 best brain scans of the world. By doing these breathing techniques with these holds.
With these what?
Holds. Retentions.
Oh, retention. Okay.
Holds, retentions.
Okay.
They saw suddenly not a part of the brain activated. They saw neural activity in 100% of the brain. That is completely new. And they did not know that, because now, through consciously going into these breathing techniques, you suddenly are able to activate 100% of your brain. Then it's up to you to go with the neurotransmitters, the subtlety of your own will into those parts. That is possible. So that creates confidence, the ability to go in any part of your brain. That's one. Then we get neurological network number 7. 7 is the immune system. Proprioception is called, blah, blah. It was thought of not being accessible or trainable or effectively being able to control by our will. Autonomous, so-called autonomous. We have shown to make people, just in 4 days, being able to tap in top down, so with their will, into that system, into the deepest of that system, and have control. So that there is no control, that was unprecedented, top down, that is now no longer. We are not schooled therein, but we have shown this through science. Then you get number 8, interior neurological network called interoception. Interoception is the ability to control, just by thought, the stress, to inoculate the stress in your body. Could be cell biological stress in physical form, emotional form, mental form, in any shape. In the end, it is cell biological stress. And we are able now, and that's what we have shown in the last study in Michigan, Detroit, Wayne State University, to be able, just by thought, the power of our own mind, top down, to control cell biological stress. And it comes emotionally, physically, mentally, doesn't matter. Stress is stress. In the end, it's cell biological stress. And this is unprecedented. And they say, and now it comes to this importance with these podcasts, to bring it out. This is a transformational technique that will change mental health care. So bringing this to the awareness of people is getting the craziness out of this world, the depression, the anxiety, the fear, the PTSD, the trauma, the psychosis, and all those things, because we have a far deeper possible control within our own brain to re-regulate our mood when it is shit. And we have never been schooled therein because it's possibly not of the interest of being schooled in becoming happy. No, you got to buy your happiness. You got to buy your security. And this is the way they control our schooling systems. And I think after sending rockets to the moon, that we have to learn what's here happening on the earth.
Right.
We got all the technology to alienate from our interior nature, inner nature, and we are no longer able to guarantee these core values: happiness, strength, and health. So we are, with all the technology and all the money and all the power, we have no power over ourselves. I think it's time to stand still, and we are showing through science that it is there. And that we want to provide for free, it's there. Freedom is the ability to go in any part of your brain, the seat of the mind, and our soul. And that it should be there. And now we got the mechanisms, the scientific measurement devices, to see those subtle neurological networks within us being able to be within the control of our will. It's all neural activity and the hormonal system. And we have shown to go into the depth. And with that, scientifically going into where East meets the West, the heart meets the mind, through non-speculative measurement devices, Western knowledge and science, we are showing that the soul is the originator of our purpose, strength, happiness, and health.
This is beautiful. And do you think that applies to the penis as well, as far as staying erect?
I meant penis and penis power. Let me talk about the penis power, or the virility.
Yes.
You know, a big one.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Staying
man.
hard and strong in your older years.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, you just had a kid at, how old are you now?
I'm
you had a child
almost 60, and next week I'm 60,
right.
59. 60 almost. I just got a kid and I'm really planning on a new one.
Another one you're gonna have. You have a beautiful, healthy baby.
I still need to get through to her, you know. But I'm getting through every day. By the way, the thing is, go back to the DNA. The DNA, you got genes, and one gene expression is responsible for virility. And when you go and do these cold showers, you know, your penis, your cardiovascular system, it really affects the all these little muscles.
Right.
And they get uptoned. You really get hard on like a rock hard, bottom hard.
Right.
And very nice, you know?
Yeah.
Yin and yang with the woman. And very, everybody
without
loves
taking
it.
a Cialis as well. No more pills. No more pills.
Yeah, Viagra, goodbye, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's one. And another thing is, if you do these breathing techniques and you have had your nice time, you know, in bed, intimate, being with your partner, and then you do the breathing a little, like 12 minutes or something, you like to go again.
Yeah.
So we know how to get into this sexual power and to control the hormones and the sperm whales, and we go into the ocean.
No, if a lot of your stuff, you seem to be very Eastern, like the yoga, the breath work, the cold. This is a lot of what Yogi Bhajan brought to the West with Kundalini yoga. It seems to be you're doing the same thing. Now, sexually, you know, is it white tantra or tantric sex is where you can breath and control your orgasm and not release and have the brain orgasm I've heard so much about. Are you familiar with this, where you don't release your chi, you hold on to it, and in effect, you have a better orgasm in your brain?
Yeah.
I would love to learn and tap into that. Is that possible through your Wim Hof method?
Oh, yeah. I got so many people doing these breathing techniques.
Right.
And doing the so-called, by the university, they found out, they call it power breathing. Power
Which
breathing.
Is what? Can you show me? Is
deeply in. Go.
While having sex.
Later, you try it out with sex.
Or masturbating?
Yes.
Right.
Hey, anything. anything. I masturbate so much, man.
Good, me too.
Oh, man.
It's healthy for you. But I stopped
they
watching
think
porn.
I got my house white painted. It's something else. It lowers the cost on paint.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Now, so are you a believer in draining your chi, that by doing that too much, you're going to walk, or do you, like, you know how they say boxers should not have an orgasm a couple months before a fight, so they have their strength. How do you feel about that? Is that bullshit, or do you seem to release your chi a lot, and you have a lot of energy?
All the time. The time. I got a lot of sex.
Well, you're like a kid. You know what it is about you? I'm the same way. I think you're like a big, and this is a compliment. You're like a big kid.
Yes.
And I'm like a big kid. And people sometimes in society say, when are you going to grow up? And I say it's bullshit. I want to stay youthful in a lot of ways forever. It seems to work for you.
Yeah.
What is your take on people that say, I'll grow? No, it's like, no, you know what? That's bullshit. I see all the people that have grown up and they're not happy. They're trapped. How do you feel about that?
Yes.
Do you agree?
Absolutely. My kids were always like, I got 6 kids.
Yeah.
And with the first woman, I got 4 kids. And I grew up almost alone with them. But I was playing more than them outside. I always had to ask them, are you coming out?
This was in Amsterdam?
In Amsterdam. And they were then behind their computers or this or that. And I just wanted to go play. Playing outside is feeling outside, and it makes you feel so good. We are too much inside.
Too many kids on their iPad. You see these, they're not happy. They're fucked up.
They get neurological disorders.
No, they're absolutely. I'm watching it happen this generation alone.
Not only because of getting into these devices with radiation, they also do not activate their muscle mechanisms, which is then not activating the right hormones in the body.
Right.
And they build up a lack. A deprivation, a deficit.
It's the beginning of us becoming robots eventually. We're turning slowly into the machine when I see this happening. It made me inspired to do a children's album. So I'm working on a children's album where the music within it is for kids to get off the phone and go play outside again, because I was fortunate enough to grow up in the 80s where we played outside and you got dirty and you looked someone in the eye. And now I see these kids inside on their device, not talking at the dinner. It seems like it's a big problem. I would not want my kid to have a phone at a certain age, maybe when they get older, but it seems to be the darkness starting with that shit. It scares me. I mean, we need to touch each other and not be afraid of put on too much hand sanitizer. No, it's okay to get a little dirty. It's okay to play outside.
My baby was eating chicken shit.
Literal chicken shit?
Yeah. And, at the first, shocking. I eat the chicken shit. No, he's never sick. Right. Because his immune system is so charged, so activated through all the things. It's almost gross what he takes, except for the kitchen. The kitchen with the stupid chemicals, etc. Right. That's dangerous.
Right. But chicken shit's okay, actually.
Chicken shit, yeah.
So is this one of his favorite snacks, or is this a one-time thing that he ate chicken shit?
Yeah, a couple of times, you know. Now he is into these stones.
Right.
Where we were just licking them and having them in the mouth like candy.
Right.
And I think, okay.
It's probably better than a gummy bear.
Yeah.
Have you ever dabbled in psychedelics? And do you think psychedelics could apply to what you, like, for instance, I used to go to yoga and I would take a little bit of mushrooms and I'd go into yoga and do deep breath work, kundalini, just breath of fire. And I would take mushrooms and I would connect to some powerful shit. It was almost like a little turbo booster for the breath work. I don't know if that's considered cheating. A couple people within the yoga community said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," But I just wanted to experiment and try, and I thought it was actually a beautiful experience because I tapped into something and I opened up more, and I was really getting kind of deep. Oh man, I was having beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, amazing. I learned. I did my experiences like, what is it now? 35, 36, 37 years ago. At a couple of years, I was into spiritual psychedelics.
Okay, what would those be, if you don't mind?
Datura.
What's that?
Datura inoxia.
What is that?
Devil sweet, Jimson sweet, Carlos Castaneda time.
Oh yeah, Carlos. Oh, so what? Peyote? No.
Yeah, but there was no peyote in Amsterdam. But I found in the next in the vicinity in the park there was a herbarium. where they have herbs.
No, I don't understand what that means. I'm sorry.
Herbariums, where they get weeds and herbs, herbal garden.
Yep.
And there I found the Datura and Atropa belladonna.
Okay.
Datura inoxia and Atropa belladonna. And those are being used actually in medicines. And I found out in the old literature that the witches in the Middle Ages, they used them to fly. And they used them to get a spell on somebody and to get very, very deep into the mind. And I began to use them a couple of times.
Self-induced to yourself?
Self-induced.
And did it help? Did it help?
Did it? Possibly. Because I really got into the subconscious, deep subconscious. I began fully dressed in the park during the day. And then the other day I was waking up naked in my room. And I thought, what happened? And in between, I remember I saw like dead people, all kinds of things.
Wow.
All kinds, very, very there.
Yeah.
Deep into the subconscious.
Right.
Then, I did that a couple of times, and I found out I took lethal amounts, apparently. But there it was. And then I left it.
Okay.
I left it. I took it fully. I left it fully.
Good.
And then I got into the breathing. Mm-hmm. And the breathing originated from going into the cold, made me really effectively going. I mean, if you go into freezing water and learn how to prolong the time, not because of toughness, but because of changing your biochemistry through deep, effective breathing, then you got something that is changing your biochemistry altogether. And I began to separate the cold experience and do the breathing exercises, which I had learned to do in the cold effectively at home at 4:00 in the morning, every morning for years. And then I saw all the chakras, all the lights, all the changes of audio within the head, explosions of energy. I saw the 1,000-petaled lotus, the real thing.
But this is just through the breath work.
Just through the breath work. I did it for years. And there I think I got all the information. I'm now spreading. There is one way, and we found effective ways, very accessible, and making it simple through scientific evidence-based research that we are able to tap into the deepest of our systems.
I believe it.
The way nature meant it to be.
I believe it.
And with that, we will bring happiness, strength, and health, and absolute control over our consciousness, and alter our consciousness so the subconsciousness becomes conscious. And that's the real school. Because it doesn't make sense to stay all your life with a so-called subconscious. No, the subconscious is there like a little baby who is not able to walk yet. There's nothing wrong with the legs. Yet the internal neurological network is not set. It's not done. We stop at a certain age of learning, while the subconscious is there to create new neurological pathways in the brain that make the subconscious conscious. And thus the flowering of the soul is starting up. And now we are stressed, we get bored, we lost our purpose, we don't know because we do not live to the fullest of our powers. And it's time now that the soul is get its space and place. We got robots to do our work, blah, blah, and all that, but we still have this beautiful soul to be realized. And that's the purpose of our evolution. Let's use 100% of our brain. Is that possible? We have shown this in brain scans already. So all these, we have shown to have control over inflammation. Inflammation is the cause and effect, or actually of any disease. And that means also mental disorders caused by inflammation.
And stress. Stress is a killer too,
Stress,
right?
Stress. You got oxidative stress, and now we are doing a study on hormetic stress. What we do with these breathing exercises and going into the cold is learning people to use positive, conscious induced stress to activate the functionality of our physiological processes in the depth of our body to the utmost, to the best. That's the way nature meant it to be. And then we do that consciously, means we, with our will, did it, and we get the control in the deepest part of our body. This is only the beginning to show that we have a possible control far deeper than ever thought possible. It's time for the soul to go and flourish.
And I think it's happening. I'm noticing now that your word is spreading. You know, people like me, I'm noticing all these podcasts. You've been getting your message out a lot of places. People who never heard about you before are now like, when I'd mentioned your name even a year ago, people maybe didn't know as much. And now your name and your message is out there a lot more than it was just 1 or 2 years ago. And I feel like the shift is happening. There's a conscious shift happening in a big, not just with you, but in general.
Yes.
There's a shift happening where people are open to these things more than ever because everyone needs to be healed and everyone feels that they need some type of love and healing. And your message is so important that's why I wanted to have you on. I wanted to help, even if it was just to my fans, followers, whoever you want to say, just even if it's just to them, and then they spread it and it's like a virus and everybody learns and grows and becomes a better person. You might have the most important message of all. You're not sitting here promoting a movie about yourself. This is the big stuff. And I believe it. You know, my dad is a breathwork coach. So my whole life as a kid, I would always hear him doing breathwork. He would do rebirthing, where he would have them in the jacuzzi, and I would hear them crying, and he's holding their stomach, and they'd be doing breathwork. And I as a child, I didn't understand it. I'd always hear him through the wall, and I'd hear people crying and breathing, and I thought, oh, that's such bullshit. I didn't know. And then as I got older and I tried it myself, I said, oh my God, all these years, my dad was onto something, and he's been doing his breathwork for 30 years. And he went to a breathwork class in San Francisco in the 80s and said, this is my mission, and made it his purpose. And he has been doing breathwork for over 30 years all over the country, Santa Fe, now in North Carolina, in Hawaii. And I've always seen and been around it, but I never knew. It took me till I grew up and tried it myself to see how magic and powerful this stuff was. I thought it was some hippie bullshit. I didn't know.
Yeah,
very real.
And so there I was too with the hippie bullshit, because I was exclaiming, "Hey, love is the power," composed by this happiness, strength, and health guarantee. We are able to guarantee happiness, strength, and health. Think about it. All those people who are not happy, all those people who are not healthy, all those people who lack energy, vitality, all that can be removed, and we can guarantee you become aligned with yourself and with the moral and core principles, wherein we find a sense of control far beyond what we ever thought possible. We are changing the books, by the way, in the university.
I know.
Right now, and that because of the hippie bullshit going through scientific, empirical, evidence-based research. There is no space for speculation anymore. And, you know, cold exposure, gradual cold exposure trains, and we can inaugurate a new type of, you know, yoga got into our system all over the world. We forgot about one thing. Killer number one is cardiovascular related, kills more than any war every year. Millions of people. How to tackle it? You do vascular fitness. Vascular fitness is a cold shower a day keeps the doctor away. That is a principle.
What if you were to eat an apple while doing a cold shower? That would double keep the doctor away, right? Because an apple a day, do they say that where you're from? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know if that's true, but I definitely believe that the cold shower would. I tried your method while eating raw garlic and jumping in Lake Tahoe recently. I was at Christmas with all my family. They're sitting around drinking wine, and I said, I'm going to go jump in the lake. They said, you're crazy. I said, well, let me go do this because I'm feeling this is what I need to do right now. I was on your program, so I added a little raw garlic just to make it more entertaining for people to watch it. And I was chewing raw garlic and jumping in the freezing lake doing breath work. I'm trying to add to your beautiful formula with some other healthy things like a little raw garlic.
Great.
I'm just trying things.
Oh man,
Why not?
Experimenting.
Raw garlic. Now going back to
it's
sex.
like little children experimenting.
Exactly.
Never
I'm
lose
a kid forever.
experimenting. Are you kidding me? Yes, we are kids.
Yes.
Kids of Mother Nature.
That's right.
In the care of Mother Nature.
Now, when I have sex, sometimes I will be very transparent. I sometimes suffer from premature ejaculation, and I'm hoping that your breath work can maybe slow down and make me.
While you do it, you begin to control through your breath.
I just came right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, see, it's that quick.
There you go. You came. There you go.
But I really do need help with that, so I was trying to incorporate some of your technique.
No,
and just
really,
slowing down.
Make your breath while it is rising. The sperm is rising, and the feelings are rising, and the hormones are rising. That's electromagnetical power going on. You know how the feeling goes, of course. You know, so that you want to temper, you want to prolong, you want to maintain. Conscious breath will do it.
I had a wet dream recently.
That is Tantra and all.
Yeah.
Hey, wet dreams are very nice.
I had a wet dream in my 40s, which I just woke up laughing because I can't believe that the signal in a dream could send that blew my mind. I'm not 16 years old. I'm wondering what I really am a kid forever if I'm still having wet dreams. Have you ever had a wet dream in your adult life?
Oh yeah, just I think 2 days ago.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Serious? I thought I was okay. Maybe it's a kid, eternal child thing we have.
Yeah, man. You got a child has a strong imagination.
Oh yeah,
and that's what we got.
That's what we got.
It's
baby.
lovely.
Oh, it's amazing.
Can tell you.
It blew my mind. Have you ever heard of the Gracie family? Hickson Gracie. He's a very famous martial artist who does a lot of breath work. Crone Gracie is his son, a friend of mine.
Right.
Hickson Gracie does a lot of cold water and breath work, and he incorporates it into his fighting. And he was maybe arguably one of the most legendary MMA fighters of all time. He's a warrior, and you're a healer. So I think this a technique. Not only they say the best warriors make the best healers, and vice versa.
I say if you are able to break somebody, you gotta know how to heal somebody.
So you're tapping into something that's ancient yogic, stuff. This breath work, the meditation, the cold water. This isn't new stuff, but you're repackaging it.
The neurology in our brain, the environmental stress is completely different than 200 years ago, 300 years ago, like you just mentioned in the beginning.
Yep.
And so the neurological stress within our brain and neural activity in general is far more than 200 years ago. So we got to deal with that.
Right.
We got to make the neurological stress into hormetic stress instead of oxidative stress.
Right.
So positive stress from negative stress to positive stress. Is that possible? Yes. We got the techniques. It's very simple, very accessible, and scientifically endorsed. So there you go.
Okay.
And I got for that also my website. And on the website, there's a free app. You can...
The Wim Hof method app?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Wim Hof method is free. It's scientifically endorsed. We did all the experimenting and we want it for free out there. So everybody is able to tap into the deepest of himself as he should at birthright.
I've noticed that in my life, I seem to get frazzled really easily, and I'm working on being more equanimous. I want to be able to stay strong in the eye of the storm. If something comes up, I don't want to be rattled so easily. And when I was doing your method, I found that nothing could rattle me, and I felt very centered. And then when I stopped doing it, I felt a little all over the place again. I feel as if I need to get back into a regular routine because what I've been doing lately is just dabbling. I mean, I did it every single day for 3 weeks, and I felt like a ninja. And now I'm just doing it here and there. Do you do your practice every single day, or have you reached a point where it's just something that you could do once in a while? Or do you do this cold water therapy every day?
It's interesting. It's like learning how to ride a bike.
Right.
In the beginning, it needs a lot of practice, attention, just to maintain balance. Mm-hmm. But at a certain moment, the bike is able to be at service for you to go from A to B. You do not even have to think to get on the bike, on the pedals, and maintain balance and see speed, anticipate traffic around you and go as fast to number B and enjoy while being there. This is the same with going into the cold and using the breath. It makes your deeper parts of the brain activated through going into stressful. You learn to tap into the survival part of the brain, which is the deepest part.
Is that the reptilian brain? Is that what that is? Yep, right.
Survival. That is flee, fight,
Fuck.
food,
Is fucking
freeze. And then, of course, the rewarding one, the dopamine one, is the fuck.
Yeah.
So we all know about the fuck.
Right,
And
well-
we crave it so much.
Right.
But the rest is also very dense there. It's nice.
It's very
to,
nice.
To get there and to have a control over the fuck. And not to go
Well,
prematurely.
that's what I need to work. Have you ever had sex outdoors naked?
Oh, yes, yes.
yeah.
I did it even in a park under a blanket. Nobody knew.
Where was it? What city? I need to paint the picture.
Yeah,
What city?
Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam. That's I feel like they would accept that there. I picture you on the top of a mountain rock in the ice cold. Have you ever done ice sex where you had ice sex?
They challenge me sometimes. Hey, in the ice, how cold is it? And I show by my fingers coming together, a centimeter.
Yeah.
That cold.
Right.
It gets in freezing water.
Right.
Your penis is just it's
yeah.
nothing. It's like a little worm.
Right. It almost goes inside.
Yeah, almost like a clitoris.
Right,
You know?
right,
Yeah.
right.
You become a little bit feminine inside of the water. But I know how to ejaculate even in ice water.
Well,
How about that? That's control over
That's
the penis.
control.
That's control over the vascular system.
Wow. Now, what do you feel about hot yoga? I've been doing that. Is that a little too extreme on the body? I've been going to hot yoga and then I take the cold shower right after. And I think it's orgasmic how good it feels to come
Yes.
out of that hot yoga.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel amazing and
Yeah.
I'm zen down. Then I jump in that cold shower and I just breathe slow in the ice cold shower. How do you feel about that approach?
Yeah, amazing. A dilatation of the vascular system.
Yeah.
So that's the opposite of the cold.
Yep.
And when you go to the extremes, you get partial conditioning.
Right.
You feel you feel super. So what your normal
I feel amazing.
That is conditioning. But then you get out of your conditioning. You feel not only in control over the extremes, but you feel superb.
Right.
Superb. And then you get into the cold. It's the other extreme, which normally you are not into. So you feel superb again. And the dilatation and then into utmost deep contraction of the vascular system, once again, 3 times the world we got inside. All that reacts. It's like heroin.
Yeah.
I don't know what is heroin, but they say, oh, it's a bodily great experience,
Yep.
etc. I got that with the cold. When I go into long cold immersion and then go into a hot tub, it's your body is screaming everywhere. Lovely. Oh.
It's a healthy high. And it's a healthy
there
high.
you got your ejaculation.
Yeah.
Really, it is so.
You look like you would have a big penis. Do you have big balls too, or do you think?
My balls are the biggest, actually.
Really?
You know,
Well, you must have
these
big balls,
Chinese
yeah.
balls?
Yeah, the Benoit
Yeah,
balls
in their hands,
Yeah.
like that big.
Right.
Yeah, really.
You have to have your confidence into your message you're portraying. I don't think you could have a small penis or testicles in order to do what you do. I feel like you need to have a big, like metaphorically and physically,
Yeah.
it takes some balls to do what you do. And even in the cold water, I bet you have a bigger penis and balls than most men.
Yes, yeah. The reaction, it is good to make these Greek postures like penis.
Yeah.
They run. I mean, if you have a big dick and you run, it goes everywhere.
Right.
Bang, 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 bang,
Right.
bang. It's
Yeah.
like the clock.
Right.
Bang, bang, bang.
The cock clock, yeah.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Right.
So it should contract completely.
Right.
I always say to everybody, the more retracts back, the more it goes out. Because it's all about muscle.
It's a muscle. Right. Right. Do you find that more men or women do the Wim Hof method? Are women as into this, or is it a guy thing?
The idea is that that women are not into this tough business, but most men or not most men, when we have retreats with 80 men and women, but mostly men, they become very feminine in the end of the week. Like very nice, very emotional. Because the cold kills ego. It breaks the ego and gives some real power,
And we all
like
need
women have.
We need an ego check.
Yes.
I think most people need an ego check of some sort.
Yes.
So
Emotion is the best.
Yogi Bhajan, I don't know. He's the one who brought Kundalini to the West. He came out at Woodstock and he said in front of everyone at Woodstock, he's like, I can get you guys more high than any of the drugs that you are on through Kundalini yoga. And they asked him, they said, who is your God? And he said, the cold.
Well, there you are.
That's it. So
Wasn't he the one who, is he gone now?
yes, he passed away.
So, what his last thing he said before he died?
I don't know.
What was it? I could make people do anything except for a cold shower.
Maybe that is him. I should look that up. I feel like it is him. Yogi
I'm
Bhajan.
the one to bring the cold shower, guys.
That's it.
And we use this science, so there is no speculation about it. You want to get high on your own supply, take the damn shower.
Yep.
And every day, because the investment is by far nothing compared to the outcome.
And let's be honest, it's free. Everyone could take a cold shower or jump in a body of water. Everyone could do the breath work. You're not trying to take people's money here. This is something that everybody could tap into. And when
It's all for free.
When I was doing your formula, your program, your whole routine, I had first that people's initial response was to me is like, "What the heck are you doing?" And then after a couple weeks, they'd say, "Hey, I want to check that thing out." That they come around. At first, they think you're crazy, but then when they're like, "Hey, man, I tried one of those breathwork things. I felt amazing. Should I do the cold shower next?" That's just me on a small scale. How I affected a few people that still come up to me and say, "Man, this stuff is changing my life."
Yeah,
So-
and we make jokes about it. I mean, on full stage, I always say I must be like 4 weeks ago now. I was in San Diego in front of 1,100 salespeople, and I told them on stage I must be a bloody good salesman because I sell cold and air.
Right.
How about that?
Right.
Here I am.
Right.
But there is more than meets the eye.
Right.
And for that, we have experimented and gotten into this deep soul search because we got too many problems in our society and found no answers. And we got some answers here. And just by doing this simple method, you will see that we are on the track to back to the soul.
I believe it. I'm a supporter. I'm a fan, and that's why I had you here. Is there anything that you want to promote right now besides the app? The Wim Hof app is on all phone.
WimHofMethod.com.
Okay, so that's the website, but I have it on my phone. I think I have an app called WH.
I do not even know how
Okay.
to get there.
Just look, if you guys out there go onto your application and just type in Wim Hof, you'll find his app that guides you. It's very simple. It guides you through a few exercises, push-ups, stretching, breath work. All of it is very, very easy to understand. I can't recommend enough you guys out there to try this because you tapped into some magic stuff. That's, like you said, it's free, baby. Everyone could go get a piece of it.
Freedom is free.
Freedom is free.
Yes.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, and maybe one day we do a cold plunge together. Huh?
Yes. Anytime. This morning I had a good one.
Did you?
You really need to go back and take the cold shower.
Yeah.
Do it then because we
Wait, what
love
do
you,
mean?
man.
Yeah,
we love you.
I love you too, and it's great to see you and your family and your beautiful young Rumi. What's the nickname?
Noonie.
Noonie.
Noonie is his nickname.
Oh man, you're gonna stay young forever. Keep knocking those kids out. Keep staying with your very beautiful hard penis, and I love you very much, Wim.
Wow.
Thank you.
I dig that.
Thank you guys so much, Wim Hof.
Great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on Twitter. All that stuff. He's a real one. Thank you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a way to end with a bang, huh?
Yes.